great lineup for you guys. First up is an interview with world-famous author, Dr. Rick. Stay tuned.
Hi, I'm Chris O'Flanagan, and today we're here with Dr. Debrickashaw Rick.
And please, just call me Dr. Rick.
Okay, well, we're here with Dr. Rick, and he's here to talk about his new book, The Blank Slate, How Christianity Changed Africa. Actually, now a bestseller in over 50 nations. Well, Dr. Rick, could you give us a brief synopsis of your new novel?
Well, my book, The Blank Slate, revolves around the idea that any population is really a blank piece of paper, and religion is the ink. Now, my main example in the book is the Christian movement that spread through colonial Africa like wildfire in the bush.
So, while you were writing this book, what kind of research did you have to do in Africa?
Well, interestingly enough, I actually stayed in Kenya for the better part of a year, working with some local anthropologists, really trying to find the root of Christianity in Kenya. It really is a beautiful country.
Well, I'll have to visit sometime. So, Dr. Rick, what motivated you to write this book?
Well, I've always been interested in indigenous African culture and how it was affected by the colonial period. Today, 60 to 70% of Kenyans identify as Christian, and there are over 4,000 registered churches. Now, only 10% of the population adhere to traditional Kenyan religions, although many people tend to mix Christianity with traditional beliefs.
Was colonialism the main catalyst for the spread of Christianity through Africa?
Well, that is one of the more traditional beliefs among anthropologists. The first credited missionary that came to Kenya was Johann Ludwig Krapf. Now, missionaries were initially unsuccessful until colonialism really started to pick up and the Uganda railway system was completed. Now, the colonial infrastructure that was created really allowed more missionaries to travel further inland and convert more Kenyans.
And what about Christianity really drew the natives to convert?
Well, that relates to the second theory I talk about in my book. Some scholars like J.S. Mbidi believe that Christianity had been in Africa long enough before colonialism to be called a traditional African religion. Now, I wouldn't go that far, but there is definitely strong evidence that suggests that Christianity had been in Africa prior to the arrival of colonial missionaries.
And what did your personal findings point to?
Well, the most apparent evidence that I found is the similarities between traditional Kenyan religion and Christianity. Now, a big misconception that many Westerners have about Kenyan religion is that they think that they're all polytheists.
And that would mean believing in multiple gods.
Yes, more than one god.
Okay.
Yeah. But in reality, most Kenyans that believe in traditional religions are monotheists, meaning they believe in one single god that created the universe.
Much like Christianity.
Yeah, just like Christianity. And there are also several passages in the Bible that refer to events that even happened in Africa.
And in your book, The Blank Slate, what did you say was the reason for the spread of Christianity?
Well, I really think that it's a mix of the two theories I just talked about. I believe that since Christianity already had its roots in Kenya, that it made it more familiar to the natives when the colonists arrived.
So it wasn't different or new?
Yeah. This familiarity allowed them to embrace it as their own, as opposed to them seeing it as a foreign concept.
So did the technology of the colonists play a role in many natives converting?
Oh, of course. The natives saw the superior capabilities of Western medicine, and in and of itself, that really negated much of their traditional beliefs. Many of the things they believed to be true were wiped away by Western medicine. The colonists also allowed their converts more access to this medicine and superior education.
Okay, well, that's all the time we have. We're here with Dr. Rick, and his new book, The Blank Slate, How Christianity Changed Africa, is on the shelves now. Go buy it. Thank you so much. That was fantastic.
Thank you.
Next up, an interview with our anthropological expert, Dr. Dege.
Thanks, Genevieve. I'm sitting down here with anthropologist Pierre, is it Doge?
It's Doge. It's
Pierre
like douche, but Doge.
Okay. So Pierre Doge here. is now back from his travels in Nigeria. Now, we just heard about Kenya. Are there any similarities between Kenya and Nigeria regarding religion, specifically Christianity?
Well, as Dr. DeBrickershaw, close personal friend of mine, mentioned earlier, there are a lot of similarities with Christianity in both Nigeria and Kenya. See, the seeds of Christianity were actually present in Nigeria before missionaries were even there. There's a lot of evidence, both in the Bible and other texts, that biblical references and stories actually occurred in Nigeria before missionaries. And, well, since there was really a presence of Christianity there already, it wasn't a foreign idea for the natives of Nigeria.
Okay, so you would say that Christianity is really the dominant religion now in Nigeria?
Well, I wouldn't go. I don't know about that. I mean, they do. More than 58% of the native Nigerians classify themselves as Christian, but there is still a large sect of Islamic culture, Muslims, that is.
Oh yeah, so is there any overlap between these two religions in their society, would you say?
Overlap, that might be a kind way of putting it. Well, there's a lot of conflict, seeing as Christian and Islamic culture really don't mesh very well. There are certain parts of Islamic culture that kind of, for lack of a better word, piss off the Christians. And, well, it's created some religious and political strife in the past in Nigeria, and there's conflict still going on today. I mean, I was just there last month, and well, I had to stay in my hotel room because there was a riot outside between two Islamic and Christian sects.
And I see you've brought some artifacts in for us today.
Yeah.
Tell us more about these.
So this rock, it's actually part of the proof of biblical references prior to missionaries. So this rock is supposed to be one of the rocks that David was able to slay Goliath with. And well, yeah, I mean, of course it's probably a replica, but I mean, it's part of that idea that Christianity was there prior to the missionaries bringing it there with the whole, civilizing Africa.
And what is this? It looks like some kind of bone or something?
I believe it's the human vertebrae of actually a Christian slaughtered by a Islamic radical. I believe he called him an imam, and well, things just escalated from there.
So I see here that you recently wrote a paper on the mission to civilize in Nigeria. Can you tell me more about that?
Well, the Mission to Civilize was a movement created by missionaries, kind of a throwback to evangelical times when there actually it kind of occurred when slavery was abolished in Europe, and as that ideology of more freedom and education became more and more rampant throughout Europe, many more missionaries wished to go over to Africa and civilize the natives of Africa. And they went over, they built schools, they built houses and churches, and brought a lot of Western technology to Africa. And it actually played a pretty large role in the spread of Christianity.
And that opportunity to convert the natives to Christianity, that really whet the appetites of the missionaries, you could say.
Well, of course. I mean, any chance an evangelical Christian has to kind of push his religion on another, I mean, he's going to take.
So is there any foreseeable end to the violence in Nigeria today?
Well, I really don't know. I mean, at this point, the hatred is so embedded that I couldn't really imagine them stopping. I mean, when you hate another culture that much and it's just embedded from birth, I mean, these kids, well, they're brought up knowing that they hate Christianity and vice versa. I mean, it's not like there's any sense of liberalism or free love going on there. It's just hatred, plain and simple.
Incredible stuff. Well, thank you for stopping by today and talking with the Fox 5 News team.
Thank you.
Back to you, Janine.
What a fascinating interview. And now, a weather update from our consultant Karen.
Hi, this is Karen Smith. It's 68 degrees, and there's a 30% chance that it's already raining.
Thanks for the update, Karen. This has been Fox News 5. Stay civilized, Africa.